Now at 6:04, after Stone Academy announced its abrupt closure of all 3 of its campuses earlier this month, hundreds of nursing students have been left wondering what's next. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Marcy Jones is live right outside of the Hartford site where an informational fair is going to be held. And Marcy, this is going to be critical for those former Stone Academy students to attend, right?
It really is. Good morning. That's exactly right. Stone Academy announced on February 15th that they were shutting down immediately. And of course, that left hundreds of nursing students stranded with dozens of questions. And now the Office of Higher Education is inviting everybody to come down to the fair today, tomorrow, and Wednesday and really learn about the options for what's next. While Connecticut's Attorney General investigates exactly what led up to the closure of all 3 Stone Academy campuses, more than 800 nursing students are seeking answers as well to questions like how to transfer credits, what happens to those with financial aid, will refunds be given for unused paid tuition, and how to pick up their coursework elsewhere. Today through Wednesday, March 1st, the Office of Higher Education will hold an informational fair at 450 Columbus Boulevard in Hartford. The goal is to introduce available options like Lincoln Technical Institute, Griffin Hospital School of Allied Health Careers, Porter and Chester Institute, and the National Guard. Also in attendance will be the officials from the United States Department of Education with the mission to help students get information about how to apply for loan discharges.
The Office of Higher Ed and Department of Public Health are going to work tirelessly to make sure your records are put intact so you know exactly what you have for a transcript and provide some of those options, be it a refund, be it a teach out, be it an alternative way to continue forward.
Those who wish to attend the fair that starts today and runs through Wednesday can do so by registering on the website of the Office of Higher Education of Connecticut. Reporting live in Hartford, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you.